like I only have one daughter. She's 3.5 right now, and it's already hard enough to have like to feel like I'm there enough.
Yeah.
You know, like because
Yeah,
I'm on the
same.
road.
Especially with like all that we do, you know.
Yeah.
All three of us, you know. It's like if you own businesses and you know just have so many things going on, it's like it's hard to be there for even
Very
just
tough.
one.
I mean,
you know?
I guess you literally cut it in half, right? So I mean, if you've got X amount of hours per week for your one kid, you have a second one, you literally cut that in half.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you have to split that, allocate half and half.
Yeah, man. I can't imagine, how that works. It's a tough one, especially because we don't have traditional careers. You know, our schedules are always something different. Like one day to the next is completely different. Like some people, when they have a more structured life and they know they're at an office or something from these hours to these hours on these days, like your schedule remains pretty like concrete, so you can factor. Okay, on Wednesdays this is Dad's day off, and Sundays is Dad's day off, so we know we're doing this and this. But like our careers, it's like, bro, every day is a different thing.
But maybe that's how like your girl like grew up in a way where it's like, because the world that we grew up in, 30 years ago, it's not the same world anymore. And you gotta be flexible to be able to just like live a life that isn't just a 9 to 5. I mean, how many more years will there even be 9 to 5s with,
That's interesting.
with,
AI
so
and
like
all this stuff going on.
exactly. So like my like you said earlier about, consistency, like my daughter has consistency. She's consistently on a plane. You know what I mean? Like she's been in 9 countries already. And it's like we have a rule in my family. If either my wife or I have to go away for 5 days, we go as a unit.
Yeah.
And that's it. 4 days, one of us can go off and do some work, but 5 days, we travel as a family.
Yeah.
So it's like, we just got back actually from Europe for a month, and I was surprised that I never felt like I left home. And when I got home, I wasn't like, oh man, I'm back home. It's like, no, I kind of realized like as long as my wife and daughter are wherever I am,
you have your home
I'm
with
pretty
you.
the home just moves. Where we sleep doesn't really fucking matter.
That's epic.
You guys
to
are
do
Rolling
that.
Stones.
I know.
Where you lay your hats, your home.
That's right. Well, speaking of Rolling Stones, are we rolling?
Not a damn chance. Not a damn chance.
Yeah, that's kind of like, what we do here is like we just like to bring friends over and
Yeah.
like have conversations and like kind of hone in on like the mindset it takes to kind of push through hard times and, just shoot the shit,
Yeah.
So we're stoked
that.
you could come through and come
Thank
sit
you.
down on the Not a Damn Chance podcast.
I
We've
love
been working
it,
on
man.
this
I
for a
love
little
it. I
bit.
love what you've been doing, man.
Yeah,
You
man.
built the whole
Thank you.
brand, man.
So we got Paul Rodriguez here, a man that doesn't need an introduction.
Thank you.
Obviously, like the GOAT of skateboarding. I'm a huge fan.
Thank you, brother.
One of the best. Definitely looked up to you my whole life, and
Thank you, bro.
you've always been super kind and generous with me every time we hung out and met and stuff. And
Dude.
yeah, man, I'm just stoked to have you on the show, and
I'm hyped. We
Yeah,
made it
dude.
happen this time. Yeah, last time, my bad.
we made it happen, dude.
I just dropped the ball on that one last time, but I'm glad we're here.
Yeah, man.
Hell yeah. And you wouldn't know this, but I mean, I used to, 20-something years ago watching the back room of Skate Lab.
Nice.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Wait, you from Simi?
No, I'm from the Valley.
Oh,
Like I went to
no.
Not far.
Birmingham. And,
Oh, me too.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't know that. Oh.
I think you're a couple years ahead of me, so we didn't go at the
Wow.
same time. But yeah,
No way.
yeah.
That's crazy.
So I've
crazy,
been, I've been
crazy.
watching your career too, from the dude who was really good at Birmingham,
Wow.
to like, holy fuck,
That's
Wow.
epic.
Wow. That's a trip to hear.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
So it, he's
Small
stoked
world.
to have you on, but I'm stoked to have you on too.
Well, I'm grateful. I'm stoked to be on.
Both huge fans, man.
Well,
and
thank you.
It's so
appreciate you.
so sick you were able to make the time and come
Of course. Yeah. I'm
and
hyped.
wrap it out with us.
Hell yeah. I'm down.
Yeah, so definitely want to kind of get into kind of your career as a skateboarder, but then also like your transition into like entrepreneurship and all the businesses you built and just
Yeah.
like everything you got going on, man.
Sure. Let's do it.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm down. I'm an open book.
Yeah, how did you get started with skateboarding? Like, what was your introduction?
Yeah, so my introduction was in 7th grade. I went to, I'm not sure if you know of Holmes Junior
Oh,
High.
I know Holmes.
Okay, yeah, you know from the skate
Got
spots,
the-
but I don't know
the
if you
10
knew from
stair,
growing up
the
in the valley.
overrail,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, so that's where I went to school.
No way.
And I had that was my first year at that school in 7th grade. And I was at a new school, and I was a really shy kid, especially in new environments. It took me so long to like warm up to people and feel comfortable, but it was close enough to my house where I would walk to school in the mornings and walk home after school. And I noticed every morning there was this group of kids in the parking lot just skating flat ground before school, and then they'd be there after school. And I would catch myself getting excited to go to school a little early and leave school a little late because I would stand there in the parking lot and just watch them.
Sick.
I thought it was so cool. Like I
Yeah.
couldn't understand it. Like I was I would like be off in a distance and just kind of watch and just be like fascinated. Like some kids could kickflip already at that point, and I just couldn't grasp how it's done. It was like a magic trick, you know?
Yeah.
Just ollieing was like, how? Like, do they have some sticky stuff on their shoes? Like, I just like, my 11-year-old brain just was thinking of all these like silly like theories of how it's done until finally I don't know, maybe a month or two into that school year, I finally like worked up enough little courage to ask one of the kids like, hey, can I try standing on your board, and can I like maybe try to roll around?
Dope.
And he let me, and as soon as I did that and rolled, it was it. I was hooked.
Yeah.
I was like, this is it. I need to do this. And so, school started in September. It took a couple months. So like by Christmas time rolling around, my birthday's really close to Christmas too. So all my family would like jumble my gifts into one. Like this is for Christmas and your birthday. So they would just ask me what I would want. And I just said, that year I said, I just wanted some money so I can go buy my own skateboard.
That's dope.
So I took that money for Christmas. I went to the local skate shop, which was Valley Skate and Surf, and just picked out my own board. I remember it perfectly. It was just a Powell blank, like a dark gray veneer on the bottom. I had some Ventures with the green bushings. They were lows, and I had rat bones wheels, probably like it was like size 53s or 54s, and just some like generic bearings, and
That's so sick, dude.
Shorty's Hardware. Yeah, and I just remember that board. That was my first board ever, and I slept with that thing. It was with me everywhere. It was like how like a little girl might take her like Barbie doll or something with her everywhere. That's how my skateboard was with me. It was everywhere with me, you know. And I was just in love. Yeah.
Did it take you long to kind of learn your first tricks, or was there someone that was teaching you? Like, was that group of kids?
Yeah.
Were you still with them?
There was this kid who lived on the in my neighborhood, like a couple houses down on the corner, and I kind of looked up to him a lot over the years. He was probably about 4. He was closer to my older sister's age. He was like 4 or so years older than me, and I remember having a skateboard and like just being out. And I knew him before I started skating, just in the neighborhood, and he was always nice, older dude, just hey, what's up, dude? And his name was David, and hey, David, how you doing? He's like, what's up, man? And then he saw me and my other little friend in the neighborhood rolling around one time, and he was like, oh, you guys are skating? We're like, yeah. He's like, can you guys ollie that? I don't know what that is, you know. And he got the board and he did an ollie, and we were like, what? How do you do that? And he kind of tried to teach us and show us the technique. So that was like how I learned how an ollie was done. It still took me so long to actually do it, of course, as we all probably remember. But he like showed me, okay, you have to, pop, slide the foot up, boom. He showed me like the mechanics of it, and then from there, like once he taught me that, I just became obsessed, and I just sat there every day for hours and hours, as much as I could, until I finally figured it out, until I finally got that back wheel off the ground, like that much,
Were you an obsessive kid before that? Like, did you have like a...
Yeah, I'm a really obsessive. So I do have an older sister, but she grew up with her dad in Long Beach. So I didn't have her in the house with me. So she would come spend time with us here and there. But I was pretty much the lone kid in the house.
Yeah.
So I would spend so much time daydreaming or like just fantasizing about whatever I was into at that moment. So like my earliest obsession was like martial arts, Bruce Lee movies. So the first time I saw a Bruce Lee movie, I was like, this is the coolest guy I've ever seen in my life. I want to be just like this guy. I want to be in martial arts movies. So I would beg my mom, put me in karate class.
Yeah.
And I was just like, she put me in there, and I was every day, I was just obsessed with it. I would go to karate class, and whatever the lesson was that day, I'd come home and I would do it until it was bedtime. I would practice it over and over until it was bedtime, and I would put on the Bruce Lee movies, and I'll just be practicing in front of the movie while I'm watching it, while I'm still trying to throw my kicks and stuff.
Yeah.
And I would just obsess. And then the next one was like baseball, Little League baseball. I saw Nolan Ryan was my favorite pitcher as a kid, and I wanted to be a pitcher, so my mom put me in Little League, and that's it. I just would be practicing all day. That was harder because it required other people to practice with.
Yeah.
So that's why like team sports for me never really took hold, because I didn't have the patience to wait for practice. Was like, once or twice a week
for like an hour.
Yeah. And then in between I wanted to play, but I had nobody to like really play with.
Yeah, you need like
baseball
a crew at that point.
And like I couldn't stand like waiting. Like when I fall in love with something, I have to do it all the time, nonstop.
That's kind of the best part about skateboarding, is like you can just go in the driveway or your street, or I personally like to go at the skate park, because there's always like some people there, and you guys could kind of all feed off of each other.
100%. But it was good because that's what I think why skateboarding was like the one hobby that like nothing else ever came and took my attention away from it, is because like I can do it all the time, whenever I want, by myself, with friends, of course, is always better, but I never had to like wait on anybody or anything. I could just do it all the time, whenever. Yeah. If you have a good piece of ground, then you're good to go. And I had a cool little patch of concrete in the backyard, and I found this my first obstacle was just like this random wood stump. It was maybe like a fire log that we never used or something. It was like a half stump oval thing.
So sick.
Like the height of a little curb. And like I would just try to like ollie over it. That was the first thing I would like obstacle that I had that I tried to like learn with, and I would ollie over it, and eventually got to 180 over it and built up from there. Eventually, for like maybe a Christmas in like 1998, I got the flat bar that Valley Skate and Surf was selling. Then I was like able to get my little flat bar skills and go from there. But it was just like straight up addiction, like obsession, addiction. Like nothing in the world mattered at all other than skating to me.
It seems like you were one of those kids, and we had him, growing up, that were like, he was better than everyone else because he just did the same thing that Michael Jordan did. Just go home every day and do 1,000 ollies, 1,000 kick flips, 1,000 heel flips, 1,000, and just do that, where the rest of us skated, but we didn't go home and like, put in the like do the homework, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I really feel grateful to have the I guess the trait that I'm grateful mostly to have, because I don't think it's not that I'm necessarily talented particularly for skateboarding or whatever. I think it was just I had the talent of obsession, of addiction, for something that I would fall in love with. It just maybe I would have been an incredible martial artist if baseball didn't come and take my attention. Maybe I would have made it big in baseball if skateboarding didn't come and take my attention. For whatever reason, skateboarding just didn't.
It stuck.
Nothing. Nothing just got me from it.
It's never ending.
And exactly. Yeah. And or even playing guitar, I got obsessed with that for a while. That was actually the one right before skateboarding. But I guess my point is like, for me, whenever I found one of these new hobbies, it was like a calling to me. As a kid, it was like of mass importance to me. It was like, this is something very serious and important, and I have to do it with everything I have. And I got off on that. I got off on like, oh, I did 100 kickflips today. Well, maybe I could do 200 kickflips tomorrow. You know, like it was just like I got off on the idea of training, you know, and I know like in skateboarding, it was especially as I grew up and learned the culture more, it was kind of like training, man, whatever, just skate, bro.
Yeah.
Like, well,
Yeah.
but I didn't care. I loved it.
I feel like I learned that from you, actually, from the days of the Beebles Park. It's like you would work on a trick that whole week to film on the weekend.
On the weekend, yeah.
And like I learned that from you, because I was like, that's like the smartest thing, because then it lowers your chances of like not getting the trick. Because
Yeah.
there were so many weekends I would go out and not get the trick.
Right.
But if I practice it, like building up to the weekend on like obstacles that were like, they could even be a small 2-stair, you know? Like it will translate to the 12-stair because it's almost the same thing. It's just timing, catch, absorb the landing, you know? And
Just those reps, man.
yeah, I would see you do it. Like you would, whatever it was, if it was like a switch big spin down the set, you would just do it down Beeble's set like 4 or 5 times, maybe more. And then you would do it again the next day, a couple times a week. And then you'd film it on the weekend. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's how it's done.
That's still like my routine now. Like that happened as I got probably to be like, I don't know, mid-20s when I started like feeling my body in the sense
when
of
it
like
kicks
feeling
in?
pain
Oh, yeah.
and like soreness. And I
Yeah.
realized like that, like, you know, as you get older, like I have to become more efficient with how I use my energy
Yep.
and like how I use my skate session if I want to get the most out of it. So that's the early stages of like me realizing that.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like if I had a spot and I knew a trick I wanted to do, I would try it, and if I didn't get it, all right, go back to the lab, which would be the skate park.
Yep.
Find whatever obstacle in the park that closest mimics to whatever it is, and just try and do that. Yeah, all week, as many days of the week I can. Then go Saturday or Sunday and try to get it. And if I didn't do that, I'll do the same thing the next week, and I'll
So
go
sick.
over and over until finally I get it. Like,
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I've gone back for tricks 6-7 weeks in a row, because like once I'm stuck on it, I can't move past it. I can't be like, oh, we'll come back to it. Let's go skate another spot. Like,
Yeah.
I can't move past it. It's
I was gonna
it
ask you
bugs
that.
me.
Because like I if I get stuck on something, there's a point where I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna go like get a little ease and like try something else and like
Yeah.
kind of like break the ice again.
Yeah.
So then I'm back on, and then I'll go back to it. But you'll just stick with it.
Yeah, majority of the time, maybe occasionally that'll happen, but sometimes, usually when that happens, that's me kind of throwing in the towel on that trick and being like, man,
I'm over it. Yeah.
I'm over it.
Well, that's that addiction you talked about,
Yeah.
that obsession of like
Yeah.
you just cannot. Like I feel like
Cannot.
knowing you as well as I do, you're like, okay, it's just not working out right now. Let me move my mind to something else. I'm going to come back to it. Where you're just like, I'm doing this thing, and I'm not going to stop until I do this thing. I was curious though, where did anyone set the example for you of going home and doing 100 kickflips, or is that something that just came naturally? Where did the strategic sort of training mindset even stem from, or was it even conscious, or was it just like, I want to do a bunch of kickflips?
I mean, it was definitely conscious. It was a little combo of both. I mean, I just was so in love with it that I just found it to be so much fun. And when I saw the older guys at the local skate shop, how good they were, that's also was my bar. Like when I saw, like, to me, these guys were a few years older and much better than where I was, and they seemed really consistent. They seemed like they had more pop, more strength, and I was like, okay, well, I can get to that point. I just have to. Every kickflip I land is 1 point closer to being like that. Or every trick I land or every trick I learn is one step closer. So like it just was like a shark who smells blood and water. If there's a little drop, then I know that the big payoff is just a little further away. So it was just like I guess it was natural. It's I could either be the most laziest person in the entire world or the most driven person in the world, depending on what it is. If I have no interest, it's not happening.
Yeah.
If I have an interest, then it's an obsessive interest, and it has to happen.
That seems to be the pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone we've talked to who's successful, and that's kind of the point of this podcast, is like, we're all just regular dudes, regular girls. We're just doing, but we obsess about the thing that we just like we can't not do it, you know. And most of us that we've come across is like, you couldn't get us to do it for any amount of money if it's not something that interested us.
Right. It's like, for me, that's emails. Like, if you don't want me to have information, just email me and I'll never see it.
Yep. I have a thing. If you email me, it says, if you know me personally, you know my phone number, call me or text me. If you don't, here's my accounts payable, here's my PR, here's this. But I'm not going to read this.
This is smart.
Yeah, so it
that.
bounces back, but it gives you. So if you know me and you're trying to get me something, you just send me, yo, I sent you an email, trying to get this to you. And if you are just someone who's trying to get in touch with us to do a catering event or a this or that, I give you all the resources of where you can go.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I need to be efficient like that. That's
because for years I just didn't do it well, and I hate not doing things well. Because you can't not have an email.
Yeah, I know. In this day and age, you really can't. So I just
you
tell
can.
people, they'll be like, yeah, well, now I know.
Yeah.
But I'll just tell people, like, they'll be like, all right, I'll set you up with email. I'm like, yeah, if you can do me a favor, just shoot me a text saying that you sent the email, and then I'll check.
Yeah.
Because I don't look.
Yeah, that's what I tell people.
Yeah.
And then, every once in a while I can still access the email. So I'll go in, but I had such anxiety for so many years of like, I got to check my email, because there's no, like, when you get text, it's a notification like, oh, I'm supposed to talk to this person.
Yeah.
But then you getting, I'm sure you as well are getting thousands of emails a day, 4 of which are important.
Probably, yeah.
And dedicating the
rest
time
are
to
spam
or somebody who should be talking to someone else or whatever.
I feel like the 3 of us kind of like all handle emails the same way.
We don't.
And it's like, we don't.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's kind of like because of like what we do for a living, right?
Yeah.
Like,
We don't have desk jobs.
yeah, we're skating, you're cooking. It's kind of like, it's a different thing. It's like if someone wants you, they just text you or they call you. And then
even that's hard for me a lot of times too. Because like, I'm sure you guys can relate, but like I notice a lot of people who are really efficient with emails and phone calls and texts and communication, their job requires them usually to be either at a desk or in front of a computer. And even if it's various subjects, it's all in one place, and their job is to just go down the checklist and do everything. Our job requires us to be away from that. Like when I'm skating, I am not accessible.
Yeah.
And like I'm skating every day, at least 2-3 hours a day.
Yep.
And if I'm not skating, I'm at the gym, I'm working out, and again, I'm not accessible. And if I'm not doing that, I'm probably in the car driving somewhere, and I'll probably be accessible for a phone call if they call. Other than that, I'm not really accessible. So even if I'll see a text right before I'm going to start the workout, and I'll be like, all right, I'll text them when I'm done working out. By the time I'm done working out, I forgot that I need to text them back.
Your brain's on something else.
And then like at midnight or something, I'll pop, oh my God, I forgot to text them back. Oh,
and
shoot.
now it's too late.
Yeah, now it's late. And I'm like, freak, I'll do it in the morning. And then in the morning, guess what? I forgot again. Yeah, so it's like, it's this constant like, because our job requires us to be away and like in the field.
Yeah.
And then this communication's coming, and then you're like, oh yeah, I got to get to that when I'm done. But like, you're in the middle of a skate session. You're like, I'm not about to put my mind on whatever this subject is. That's another thing about it. I hate when I'm locked in on something. I hate getting my attention taken from it.
Yeah.
For something else, even if it's like, oh, it's just 2 minutes, just respond. You don't understand. Like my brain it's not there now. It's here. I can't put it there.
It could completely ruin
It
what you
jams
were
you
locked
up.
in on.
Yeah.
Well, you can't operate at the highest level if you're scatterbrained.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, you can operate at a level. You can dabble with success. You can get things done. You can, make a living, but you can't be one of the greatest, I think, if you are constantly being pulled in every single direction.
Yeah, I don't know how a guy like Elon Musk does it. I mean, I'm sure he's got mad assistants and executives and people like that for sure. But still, to put your brain power on the vision of each thing that he has going on, it's like, how do you even divide that time?
I have to imagine you would do it similar to the way you would do a chef. Like I have 27 restaurants, but I'm sitting here talking to you right now, right? And so you might be like, how do you run 27 restaurants? Well, I don't have, I don't.
Right.
But I have teams that do by proxy, basically.
Structure.
And so he's not, I mean, there was even that whole debate or debacle about him not actually playing Diablo. I don't know if you followed that or not.
No.
He became the number 1 ranked player in the world at a video game recently, and people were like,
Who, Elon?
Elon, yeah.
Wow.
And people were like, how do you have time to put in all these hours? And then people were like, well, he's hiring someone to play for him. And I actually found it kind of interesting because I'm like, well, you're not, and this is no shade. This is how you build enterprises. You don't Steve Jobs didn't physically wire every single fucking iPhone.
He was the visionary.
You're the visionary. You put the team together. Quentin Tarantino does not do all of the acting.
Right.
Right? He doesn't do all of the lighting.
Yeah.
And he has actually a great quote about like, don't even try to do that. You're not the best light guy. Get the best light guy and tell him the light you want.
Right.
And so that's, I think, how you can actually stretch that big is you just get a proxy. You're like, you're going to be my right hand, my left hand, my second left hand, my third left hand, my fourth left hand. And you basically become a puppeteer almost.
Yeah.
That sounds kind of sinister for someone like him, but you know what I mean?
Like, but you're
I think
like,
that's how you do it.
you're a conductor.
Exactly.
Like within the orchestra, like he's not the one playing the music, but like he's making sure everybody's in place.
Yeah.
It's like being the coach of a team, Like you're calling the plays. You know where the players need to be. You know what structure we're working on. Here's the plan. You execute. That takes a huge skill in it of itself.
And the biggest evidence of like a coach's importance is look how many sports teams they just changed their coach and what happened. Either they went on to win everything or they went same boys on the field. They go on to lose everything, right? And so it's so easy to say, it's just the actor, it's just the this, it's just the that. But oftentimes, same with a chef, you're often like, well, that chef's not in the kitchen. It's like, no, but was the food good?
Yeah.
There you go.
It's true. This is
kinda
good.
Brings me that conversation kind of brings me into like kind of how did you start your businesses? Like what was like the light that kind of went off that you're like, oh, maybe I should start stuff. And
well, most of them I stumbled into, but I did always have a vision that I wanted to be very well off. I guess, quite frankly, I wanted to be rich.
For sure.
I always wanted to be rich.
I think everyone has.
Everybody desires it.
Everyone desires it.
Not everyone takes the steps towards it.
Right. And so for me, naturally, when I started skateboarding and I found out there was such thing as professional skateboarders, in my mind, I was like, oh, there must be rich. So that was just another excitement for this thing. Like, I love it and I can make money. Wow, this is cool. So I guess I always had this vision of trying to figure out how to get to that point of being well off. And then I found out in skateboarding that was kind of looked down upon. But that didn't really bug me because I knew that, like, I just had this feeling like if I just love skateboarding and pursue it, you can tell that the passion and love is there. What I choose to do on the business side of things, that's my business. You know what I mean? And plus, like, my father was a real well-known comedian growing up, and he was really well off. So I saw somebody living their dream at the highest level and getting paid really well for doing it and doing so. Like, from when I was born, before I even started skateboarding, I always associated your passion with becoming your living. Yeah. And so when I found that out in skateboarding, I was like, well, I didn't necessarily resonate with that side of it of like who cares about the money? Like, don't get me wrong, like, money is not the ultimate importance. Yeah. But it is something I'm not ashamed to say, like, I'm looking to get paid.
Well, you need money to live.
Yeah.
Especially in this economy.
And at 12 years old, I didn't really have an idea of what real money was anyways. As long as I could have enough to buy a skateboard or whatever and save up my lunch money and go get a skateboard, that's fine. But sorry, I got off track. I guess I was setting up my answer of how I got into business. So like that's kind of one part of my mind, how my mindset always was. And then as I started becoming a fan of hip hop, I would get really fascinated about how it works, and like I'd find out how like a lot of the artists weren't the ones really making the money. If you look on the back of the CD, it was the executive producers and this. I started getting geeked out on that, and then I started learning about Jay-Z and how he ran his businesses and how he had ownership in everything, and how from the get-go he owned all his stuff, all his masters, and the way they structured the deals and cash money and no limit, how they did all these, and how I became fascinated by like how these guys built their empires.
Crazy smart.
Super smart.
Yeah.
So then my goal was like, well, maybe if I can just kind of like follow the blueprint of like what a guy like Jay-Z does and like apply that to my world over here, maybe I could like have like a pretty good career in skateboarding. So I started off first. The only thing I knew how to do was try to get the best sponsors, the biggest sponsors, best I could. And by doing that was getting an agent or a manager, which at the time was like really like, what is this dude doing? That is so not what you do in skateboarding. And so I had ended up getting an agent.
How did you go about that? Because like, yeah, I mean, back then there wasn't like, were there agents for skateboarders?
Because it was all like core and
it was all
skating.
core and bro, like just bro deals. Nobody was even having contracts really when I was coming up. So how I got an agent was I forget who introduced me to this guy. It was this guy named Rob Conlisk. He was like an ex-basketball player, super tall, but he was a financial advisor. And I think Evan Hernandez might have introduced me to this guy actually.
Okay.
And you know, my intention, I was 17-ish at the time, not making huge money, but I thought it was a lot. And so like I just knew that I always wanted to like be smart with my money, learn how to grow it, invest it, whatnot. But so I got introduced to Rob Conlisk. He was helping me set up like a 401k plan, and like, here's what we should put your money in, the, you know, S&P 500 or what, this and that.
That's super dope. You figured that out like at such a young age.
I didn't figure it out, but my intentions were to figure it
And you
out. I was
started
definitely,
thinking,
I was definitely like, had the intention of it, you know, because I seen my dad, he had accountants, and, you know, they would, I kind of like, would use him as like, okay, I think this is what you're supposed to do.
Was your dad kind of like teaching you any of this stuff kind of as you were growing
No,
up?
as I grew up, I realized he's horrible with money.
Okay.
As I grew up, I realized that, but
So there was like no mentor.
I thought what he was doing at the time was a good thing, like having an accountant or like a financial advisor. That just
A lot
that
of hands in
term
the cookie
sounded
jar.
like a financial
Yeah.
advisor. Oh, I might need to do that. So, anyways, I was working with Rob Conlisk, and he just happened to mention to me that he knew this woman named Cersei Wallace. She happened to be Costin's manager at that time, so Costin was ahead of the game. And, you know, Costin being one of my huge heroes, I was like, that's an extra plus. So he was like, yeah, I happened to mention to her, she's an old friend of mine, that I was working with you, and she threw it out there like, well, see if he's interested in management. I'd be happy to work with him, whatever. And I was like, sure. So he set up a meeting. I met her, and then I was like, let's do it. So, but when I signed with her, there was definitely rumblings in the industry of like, what is this kid doing? Like, he's like, this is not what you do. Like, you don't need contracts. Just fucking, you know, be happy and like whatever they give you, and like, and that just wasn't my feeling.
Where do you think that comes from? Do you think? I mean, is it like, because it's kind of like that in cooking, or at least was, where it was like we all feel like we're supposed to be like the outcasts, and we're not supposed to be professionals. We're supposed to be, you know, counterculture, and therefore let's not actually like progress and grow, and you know, in those types of ways. And I've always wondered if it's like, has anything, like if it's just, are we brainwashed to think that so that we don't get contracts, so that we don't, you know,
100%.
Yeah. I thought you might say that.
100%. You know, it's just what it was. You know, I don't know how far back. I would guess that it went far back to like the founding fathers, because you got to think that skateboarding is something that just started with a bunch of dudes, you know, like who were surfers who wanted to surf when they weren't in the ocean, and like going through cones, and it was like nobody at that time
thought it would be
expected
where it is.
that there would be any way of it becoming a living. It was just a hobby that they did. And you got to imagine, they were very young. I don't know, 15, 16 themselves. So when you're that young, you're not thinking like in that way of business, at least not most people. So I think that's how it grew. It was just like a passion for fun thing, and no one ever saw that it was going to have a future. But then eventually an industry kind of springing up, and you know, it became a profession, but still had that thing of like, you know, keeping it real, which I agree with to an extent. I do think there's a lot of value in staying in touch with your core, with the foundation for sure. But I also think that, you know, to each his own, and if you want whatever you want, if you want to build a big successful career out of it, shoot for the stars. If that's not where your heart's at, don't. There's no right or wrong, I don't think, personally. And I've definitely made some decisions that I've looked back and I was like, maybe that wasn't the best thing. But, you know, that's just trial and error. That's skating.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you want to learn a new trick, you're going to try it. You're going to do it wrong many times, more times than you're going to do it right. And so that's kind of how I looked at it. And so I just didn't really care too much about the judgment, because I always known where my heart is and how much I love to skate. Like, nobody can tell me how much I like that I don't love to skating, and I'm just doing it just for this or that. Because like, I'm 40 years old now, I'm still skating damn near every single day, multiple hours a day. Like,
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
the thing.
have to skate that
'Cause
much, but I have to.
You didn't become a sellout, and that was what we were all scared to be.
Yeah, I mean, people would say that I did become a sellout.
But as
I
long as
always like that word, that like phrase to me is like, I always feel like it's the opposite way. Like you're almost selling yourself out, not taking
I agree.
something that's going to be good for your future.
Not valuing yourself.
Exactly.
I agree. Yeah, it just depends how you look at it, right? Like, some people would say, like, riding for Nike or Mountain Dew, AT&T, these are all corporate sponsors that be like, he's a sellout. But my thoughts on the term sellout, like, I don't care. Say what you want about that. Like, as long as, like, I'm not breaking my morals.
that's
Exactly.
it. As long as you're not changing what you do to make the money.
I'm not hurting nobody.
Yeah.
I'm not stealing from nobody. I'm not cheating nobody.
You're just doing you.
I am just looking at opportunities that are coming to me based off of the work and the talent that I've been able to develop. And I will do with that what I wish.
Exactly.
If you want to develop and become the best skateboarder in the world and not take any opportunities, not do anything with that, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
That's personally just not my way, not
Yep.
my vibe.
I think that's well said, you know.
Yeah. And so that, as long as I can look in the mirror, as long as I can go to sleep at night, as long as I like feel good with who I am as a human being, like then
Well,
I'm comfortable.
I think, and out of taking those chances that you took, you were able to kind of build this whole other system to where, you know, you have Primitive, where you know, help tons of other skaters kind of follow their dreams, which is like, I think super just like you gave back, and, you know, you're helping so many other skaters be a professional skater and extend their careers beyond because you have love for the game.
Yeah,
you know
man.
what I mean?
That's something I never, you know, when you're a kid chasing your own dreams, you don't think that far ahead. At least I didn't. Like, I never realized how gratifying it would be to, like, you know, help another aspiring professional skateboarder, help a young kid, you know, come from, you know, obscurity, get him in the game, help them, you know, become amateurs, and then eventually help turn them pro and have their dream come to life, and then that helps them open up their world to getting other sponsors and whatnot. So like, I never dreamed that far to think to getting to that point. So I didn't know how actually like gratifying that is to be a part of that.
I gotta
process.
imagine that's some of your more proud moments.
Yeah, man, that's a very proud moment that I'm very happy to be a part of in other people's story.
I think
so that's a very gratifying thing.
it's very like different because we come from like almost the entertainment industry, like skating in general, when you're filming video parts and you're going bigger, further, harder. So it's always like entertain, like how can I go bigger this week or this video part? And then you start a business to where now you get to like help others kind of, you know, follow their dreams. And it's a different feeling inside of you because like before you're super stoked that you got the switch tray bomb down this set of stairs or whatever, and you got the clip and you're hyped. But there's like a different fulfillment when you can help someone else and you can watch, you know, their dreams come true.
It's just like, because you can remember
Feeling
being
Yeah.
where they're at. You can remember and know the stage of their career where they're at because it's so vivid still in my mind of being in that moment, and now being on the other side of it is just like, it's a trip. It's almost in a way selfish. Like I'm like selfishly like enjoy doing it because of how it makes me feel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And also to go back to our point before, I had something that just came to my mind. Like in skateboarding, like you said, we're always pushing to go bigger, go further, do the next trick, do the next video part. That's another thing that also, like, to me, confused me, because we learn how to push ourselves, challenge ourselves. We learn how to literally face obstacles and overcome them. We learn how to fall down and get back up, get beat up and get back up, come back again. And those are such valuable traits to have, but then we don't allow ourselves to use those traits in other categories of life. Taking it to business, doing it with sponsorships, you know, whatever your other goals and dreams that you might have, you're like, I can't do that because what are they going to think of me?
Yeah.
I can't do it. But like, you've just developed all these skills,
Yeah.
this mental strength, this physical strength, this tenacity. You can apply that same thing to other areas.
But just like it takes balls to keep jumping off the same four stair and hitting the ground, it takes balls to go try something new, you know, in business or whatever.
100%.
But it does take, you know, I wonder, you know, we were talking about how you're like, you know, you hundreds of kick, like, you know, that sort of, I would imagine that mindset applied to business is a recipe for fucking success.
100% it is.
And I was wondering, you know, you mentioned that your father was a big comedian, and I know, like, and I couldn't help, the second you said that, it connected for me how you brought up that, like, you would practice a trick all week to do it, you know, to get the part.
Yeah.
And that sounds a lot like working out at the club to go play the
100%.
theater or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And so do you think that like that and, like, you know, the hours of practice, which, you know, in stand-up you're doing, you know, all the stage time just to get reps, do you think that well, obviously that informed, you know, the way, but do you think it was conscious or just?
I think it was subconscious for sure. Like, you know, because by the time I found skateboarding, I was just shy of 11, 12. So, like, you know, I'd be around my dad, and, you know, I didn't live with him, so I would see him sometimes. And a lot of times when I'd be with him, you know, he was really busy. So a lot of times I'd be with him, he'd have to, like, all right, son, you're coming with me for the weekend, but I have to shoot this show, or I have to do a stand-up show, or I have to go to an award show. I have to do. So I would always be with him at these events and things and watching him work. So I'm sure, you know, when I'm 6, 7, 8, 9, my mind wasn't necessarily thinking that way yet, but I'm just absorbing it. It's just being instilled in me.
Yeah.
So it's more nature than nurture the way you got it.
Yeah. And so I think as I got older and got into my own career, I think I looked back and realized the impact that it had on me, but I didn't know it in the moment, for sure.
Was it tough kind of dealing with that whole core kind of backlash as you kind of created a route for yourself?
Yeah, what did that feel like? Or you're just like, fuck
No,
it.
you know, not in that way, but like, I just used it all as motivation. Even still now,
Smart.
like, I still get shit all the time, you know, by you know, kids who ain't even been in the game
I don't even know what.
a fraction of how long I have been, and trying to
For
tell me
sure.
that I ain't an actual real skateboarder or whatever they want to say. Like, I don't take that and I just take that and I just keep moving forward. I keep my head held high. I keep doing what I'm doing.
Yep.
I keep pushing towards my goals. And that's really what motivated me. I was always the type of person like, oh, you don't think so?
Yeah.
Okay, watch.
Yeah.
That's how it was with my dad. He didn't believe in skateboarding. He didn't think I could make a living. He didn't think I could, like, he didn't think it was a career. He just thought it was something that just boys do. Boys like riding bikes. They like riding skateboards. They like playing ball. They like wrestling. They like, roughhousing. He just thought I was just being a kid, and which I was, but I had just happened to find this thing that I was like, no, that's it.
But also back then, he wasn't wrong necessarily.
No, he wasn't.
There wasn't. It's like video games. Our
Yeah.
parents didn't think that you could make more than LeBron playing video games one
Right,
day.
right.
And now you can.
Yeah.
Which is it
Insane.
informs me as a father now to be like, I think consciously, because in a few years my daughter will start having like some real interest. It's like she might take an interest in something that I'm like, that could never be a thing.
Right.
And I'll have to be like, oh, but everything today could never be a thing when I was a kid.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So like now people are making millions of dollars by having somebody just film them eat food.
Yeah.
Like,
So
it's
like
insane.
that's even stuff that I'm getting into now. But like to go back to what you just said, about my dad, he wasn't wrong, but the fact that he told me it couldn't be done, all right. Okay.
Fuel.
Yeah.
You're on my list now.
Yeah, fuel to
list
the
of everybody
fire.
who I'm gonna prove wrong.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
And
I
like
love that.
I was watching The Last Dance, Michael Jordan, the doc on the 98 season of the Bulls.
So good.
And how like they would say that like Jordan would like sometimes make up things in his mind, like create enemies in his mind to like use as fuel to motivate. I was like, oh my God,
That's so
I did that as a kid.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I would look at it as everybody didn't think I could do it. My dad didn't think I could do it. I would look at the older guys who were taller than me, who had more pop than me. I would think of them looking at me as if like this kid is never gonna improve. He's never gonna like. I would do that. I would create internal enemies
Wild.
in a way and be like, all right, motherfucker,
I
see.
like that.
Okay,
It's I think it's a healthy mindset, but that's also because I'm exactly the same. Like my Marty McFly is like, if you tell me I can't do it,
Yeah.
if you tell me I can't find success, if you tell me it cannot be done, those are the things that now I can't rest until I prove you wrong.
Yeah. Like I want you to be the wrong. I want you to be the guy on the wrong side of history.
Yeah.
That's my goal. Like, you know what I mean?
But again, we don't give a shit about the things we don't give a shit about. So the
Right.
only time we actually are going to stand up and fight for the thing to prove ourselves right is because we believe in it.
Right.
And when you believe in it, if you don't give up,
It's very
You win.
powerful.
Yeah.
It's
You just
very
win.
powerful. Yeah. You don't fail until you quit.
Yeah.
It was a good one.
It's not
and
over
it-
until you say it's over.
I have this idea that's like a game over in a video game isn't until you actually die. Because every time that you respawn, it's not game over yet. Right? So it's not failure until you're actually like done.
So you're dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
And
Because
even
at any
then,
moment you
never
can be
know.
like, you know what? Fuck it. One more try.
Yeah.
Even if you walk away from the trick for a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, eventually you're like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's go.
Yeah, 100%. And I just get off on that. I love that, and that's why. And like skateboarding, like you said, the game never ends. There's always some new things to do. I know I'm older now, and I have to adjust my strategy, I guess. Like I'll still like to jump some stairs, but I can't jump like I used to or as often.
All day,
my
every
knees
day.
hurt, my ankles hurt.
For sure.
Like I take care of myself, but still, like it's just that's how nature is just in an athletic endeavor. You just eventually your window closes, right? But like, what was I trying to say? Oh yeah, but I still see ways that I can get better. Okay, maybe I'm not going bigger anymore. Maybe those days I've peaked out on, but I can get more tech.
Yeah.
I can still get more board control. I can still learn new skills. I'm very amateur when it comes to like mini ramps and transition. I could take my
Get better at that.
take my attention and put it there.
Yeah.
Like there's definitely many different pockets you can adjust your game to, like how Kobe did as he got older. He adjusted his game. Later on in life, he became more of a shooter or a facilitator, a passer, creating plays. He got better at those different things. Whereas when he was younger, of course, he could be more active, drive to the hole, dunk on people, and like do all the athletic feats.
Yeah.
But like as he got older, he still found ways to improve, even though certain abilities physically he couldn't do anymore.
I feel like that's something in skating that's not really talked about much, as you like age in skating and like how to kind of enhance other skills within skateboarding and not just doing the same old thing that you're known for, but like how can I get better at being tech? How can I get better at mini ramp? All that stuff. There's like all those other routes that you could kind of navigate to without having to do the same old thing that
Yeah.
you've done forever, you know?
And really, like, as creative as you can be, the sky's the limit.
Yeah. And
Look at day
skating's
one,
kind of
skateboarding.
opening up.
Look at day one.
Yeah.
Oh
That's
my
the most
gosh.
creative.
And you know, he's almost 50, dude. He's getting
Yeah.
close to 50, and
Still ripping.
he's like a genetic like freak.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's ripping insane. His board control is wild. I think he's got the most board control I've ever seen anybody have.
For sure.
He's one of the only people who could put together a mini ramp video, you know, and like
Do
have
things you can't even fathom.
When
Yeah.
Cheese and Crackers came out, that was like one of
Yeah.
the coolest things of all time.
Insane video. I mean, at this point, he's beat all the levels of skate spots. Like he'll skate
Yeah.
like
And we just put nice like skating a
he'll
door
skate
on top of it.
Yeah, he'll skate a broom in his living room or a shoebox, or he'll draw a manual pad on the ground with chalk and skate that, or he'll
Yeah.
skate rocks or the side of trees, and you're like, this guy like he's
insane.
running
He's
out
a
of
beast.
things. Yeah, so it's
Mastering it all.
that's what I love, is it just never ends. So like I'm still at this point finding those areas how I can still improve and get better, and how I can still, because I still want to obsess over it, you know.
It's kind of like it was a question I wanted to ask you, and you kind of like navigated to that. Was just with all the stuff going on that you do and the businesses, like and training, like how do you like structure it all to where you still skate?
Yeah.
And then like what motivates you to still skate?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you have a bunch of stuff going on to where it's like you don't necessarily have to skate that much or
Right.
push yourself that
Right.
hard, you know?
Right. Wow, this is a multiple avenue answer. So if I go off on a tangent,
No,
bring me
we'll
bring me
you
back.
in.
So with what I got going on, like thankfully, I guess to what you were saying earlier about delegating and having the team, I mean, I have some really good partners that I work with in Primitive. So I'm not running Primitive on a day-to-day basis.
Yep.
I'm in the office at least once a week for like the Wednesday meetings. I'm part of like the overall brand vision talks, but when it comes to like every graphic that comes out, that's not me. That's not where my passion lies. Or every piece of clothing that we make is not me. That's where my partner Jubal really shines.
You have the right person for the job in that
Yeah,
position. Yep.
yeah, and you know, like as far as the team and team management, that's where like Taylor. Shout out to Taylor McClung. He's
Taylor's the man.
Great team manager. So we have our star players in place. So I don't get bogged down too much with trying to run a company, because truthfully, that's not my passion.
Yeah.
That I'll go back into that story later, but like Primitive was something that like I stumbled into.
Yeah.
And then it just grew into this thing, and it got like bigger quicker than what we expected. You know what I mean? It's like having a baby. Like you have a baby, but then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, this baby like just grows up into a giant, and you're like, oh my gosh, I wasn't ready for you to like grow like that. But that's a good problem. But but then as far as skating, what still motivates me? Man, so many things. You know, early on as a little kid, I guess it stems from when I first saw Bruce Lee. Like I just had this obsession with whatever I did, I wanted to be the best. I had this thing that just wanted to do that. And when I saw Michael Jordan, when I saw Nolan Ryan, I would just find everybody in whatever hobby or thing that I was into, Jimi Hendrix, everybody who I thought and I saw as being the best, I always envisioned myself as like trying to be in that group with those guys.
Yeah,
So when I found skateboarding and I found out there was pro skateboarders, I was getting schooled by the older guys who the top dogs were of that day. And it was like, Costin, Reynolds, Penny, Guy, Mark Johnson, all the basically all like the girl and world dudes and flip dudes and many others. But that was like the era when I grew up. Those were like the main chunk of guys I was like inspired by. So I always dreamed of like, all right, well, I want to be like in that group considered legendary with these guys, and that was always what motivated me. And then now at this point, it's about like longevity, like proving like or even proving to myself and trying to see like how long can I still go and feel like I can like relevantly contribute to the game.
I love that.
That's a big inspiration because like I'll find or feel or get energy, whether it's coming from my sponsors, whether it's coming from something people will say, where like, you know, like they'll be talking to me in a way like where they're like the underlying tone is like, okay, you're like not that dude anymore.
See, that's you just like making that enemy in your mind. Just
like
so you can
I
go.
hear it in the tone,
Not fired.
like you're not that dude anymore, but you know, like you've built a name and like, you know, you're still like valuable to the culture and like you know what irks me the most is when like I'll be like going through moments where I'm like in a slump or kind of down on my skating and I put too much pressure on myself to try to like, you know, excel and people are like, dude, just relax on yourself, man. Like nobody cares. Like they just want to see you skate. That's the most irking statement. They just want to see you skate.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, what? Like you're basically saying like it doesn't matter. They just want to see you like do a kick flip, do a you know, switch flip, do, you know, like your go-tos, and they just want to see that. Like I'll get so mad like what? Like
it just takes the passion
yeah,
away
like
right there.
I get so mad and I don't want this to come out the wrong way, but I'm like,
No, I understand.
fuck what they want to see. This is what I want to do, right? I want to be able to still do this. I want to push and excel. So like that pisses me off and that motivates me.
That's what it is. So at the end of the day, it's you versus you. It's what you want to present.
Yeah.
It's like, it's your art. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, this is me and this is what I want to present and I still want to contribute.
Yeah,
So
like I want to
here
feel
it is.
relevant, dude. Like
Yeah.
I always told myself when I don't feel like I'm relevant in the game, I'm gonna leave. And I right now I'm like, no, I still feel like I can be relevant.
Yeah.
And
Still got fire.
I got the fire, and then also when I had my knee injury back in 2018, that was a big inspiration. Like, okay, well, let's see how you can come back from this. Can you be the same? Can you continue to get better after that? Will you like mentally come back?
Was that your first injury, like
Yeah,
serious injury
that
like
was my
that?
first real deal injury, like first surgery. Like you know,
You want to talk about that a little
yeah,
bit?
sure, yeah.
What did you do?
So I tore my ACL, both meniscus, my MCL,
Oh,
and
wow.
then it was like a bone contusion from I don't know if it's
And this was all the same bail.
all the same bail.
Just a full blowout.
full, like
basically.
yeah. The doctor called it the terrible triad, where it was like almost everything was blown out. Only this ligament on the outside, I think it's the PCL, was the only one that didn't get tore. It was just sprained.
Okay. Wild.
So everything got ripped.
Wow.
On the from the ACL inward.
What were you doing?
I was doing a freaking half cab flip down I think it was an 8 or a 9 stair, but I missed the pop. Like my board popped too late and it airballed, and
Just kept
the board
spinning
just
underneath.
flipped, and like that particular set of stairs kind of bugged me out because it was like a kind of a short landing, and then the landing was like a sidewalk into a parking lot, so it would drop off a curb into a parking lot. But right directly at the end of the landing, at the end of the curb, maybe like a foot after the curb, was a parking block. And so I was kind of paranoid about it. So half my attention was on like not falling. Like for some reason I had this like bad vision that I was gonna like land on my ribs on the parking block and break a rib. So like that I had that paranoia in my mind. So as I'm skating the stairs, half my attention is like focused on this parking block. And so I think that definitely like didn't help with like me being focused on like the trick itself and like popping in the right place. So I airballed, the board flung up in the air, and I felt like I was about to like land on the board, either like on the side of my leg or on my rib or something. And because I was coming down like this, and the board was like out of control here, and I was like off center. So like I tried to like get around the board and like put my foot out to like, I guess, brace myself and
not land on the board basically.
Yeah, my upper body was this way and my leg was a little bit in. And so as it bent, I couldn't get it to like come with me. So the pressure just pushed it like that.
Yeah.
And
the impact.
my knee just went pop pop.
Yep.
And I immediately felt it just just this side go this way, this side go this way, and just and that's
It's just
one
one of
fail
those
swoop.
those freak accidents. That's kind of how
Yeah.
they happen. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, when you went to the hospital right away or whatever, was there at any point was there ever like a hey, you won't skate again? Hey, you won't, like that they were telling you that, like, yo, this is so bad, you're not going to be able to, or was this like you will recover, but you'll be different, or
Yeah, the doctor said that he gave me a lot of confidence. Dr. Fotopoulos, shout out. He does it. He was like, I do these surgeries all the time. What I will tell you is I just need you to listen to me.
and just do what the fuck
Do
I
what
say.
I tell you to do, and it's gonna probably be stronger than your other leg
Yeah.
by the time you're done. And I was like, okay. The part that just killed me was like the time of the recovery. It was pretty much almost a full 2 years by the time I could skate like all the way.
Like progressively.
Yeah, like it took. I thought I was gonna have surgery within that week, but it took 4 months till he okayed me to get surgery.
Yeah, because you did a lot of like training to strengthen everything
that
up
might have been around
before.
the time, or maybe before when I would see you in the gym when you were first
Yeah,
starting
yeah.
on your fitness journey. But maybe it was around that time over there. Shout out to Dr. Eddie and BDX.
Dr. Eddie, yep.
But what was I trying to say? Oh yeah, so it was 4 months because he wanted this to heal because it wasn't all the way ripped, the MCL. He thought that like
wow.
there's good blood flow on the inside of the leg, so he was like, that'll heal, but I just want to wait until we do surgery for that to heal.
Okay.
Were you having to like
So-
live on like painkillers, or like you just
No,
like raw
thank
dogging
God.
it, like
Thank God. Well, after the surgery, which took 4 months, then I got the surgery, and I was paranoid because I have seen people, I know people, and have people even in my family who have got real bad addictions because they had an accident or surgery and they got prescribed something and basically became addicts.
They get hooked.
And so I was really nervous about that. So he gave me what was it? Not Oxycontin. It was like one of those
Hydrocodone. or
something like
whatever.
that. Yeah, I forget even what it
Ibuprofen kinda
was.
thing.
Yeah, and so he gave it to me, and I just made a pact with myself, like I'm gonna only use one bottle, and I'm not gonna have a refill, because he was like, it was basically unlimited refills.
Yeah.
And so like by the time I finished that first batch I had, I was just like, no more refills, and then I would just do Tylenol or Advil or something
Deal with
after
it,
that.
basically.
Yeah, by then it wasn't too bad anyway, and I thank God I was able to stick to that, because I did start noticing, probably like halfway through that first bottle of pills, like I noticed like I'd be like counting down to when my next pill was coming up.
Oh,
Like,
shit.
how long till I can pop that next one? Maybe I can do a little hour early, because like low key they have you feeling nice.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
And I was like, wow, and then I would catch myself like anticipating getting to take another one and kind of being excited about it, and then catching myself being like, oh, that's not good. So thank
that's
God.
healthy.
Thank God I was able to avoid that, because I do have an addictive personality,
Yeah.
whether it be with skating or anything. Like if I like it, I'm all in. So that could have been the bad side of the obsessive mindset.
Definitely got to be careful with those pills, man.
Yeah.
You did it the smart way. Just take it for as many days as you need it, and if you could deal with it without, like after they tell you like you could get off, kind of, you should just start lowering the intake and like, get off of them as soon as you can.
As soon as that first bottle was done, I promised myself no refills.
Yeah.
But I think it's that sort of warrior mindset of like, you went into it with a plan. Most people don't go into it with a plan. They just start taking the pills. And also, we didn't know until somewhat recently that like these things were that addictive, because we were told they're not addictive.
Right.
So you just start taking them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they'd be like, all right, time to stop doing it. And then you would just keep taking them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but I think I realize this with alcohol too. If I go into a night and I tell myself, all right, like, so I never drink liquor. I will not drink liquor. But I was in Rome recently, and the friend that I was with was like, we're drinking. And I was like, I can't. And he basically was like, no, we're going to drink the local stuff, whatever. And so I looked at my wife and I was like, all right, I'm going to make sure that even though I consume this, it does not affect me in a way that I would if I was just shooting it.
Yeah.
And so I actually, by the end of the night, I was like, how the fuck am I coherent? And then I was like, oh, because every step of the way I checked on myself. You know, I just took inventory. And I think going into it with a game plan, when it comes to any sort of substance, is going to be tremendously helpful to navigate through it and then to get out the other side.
Yeah. Well, truth be told, congrats to you for being able to do that.
Well, 30 years of practice.
Well, truth be told, so like the reason why, like, well, one, I've seen other friends go through the struggle and family members when it comes to pills, and I knew that it was so strong. But like, I personally, especially at that time in my life, I was drinking a lot. I like to drink.
Yeah.
And so I knew myself, like, all right, well, if you already like to drink this much, then if you start getting on pills, this is not going to be a good thing, you know? So thank God I was able to, like, stop doing that. But, like, I haven't had that success with alcohol. I will tell myself, like, all right, I'm not going to drink for X amount of time. I'll find an excuse and I'll drink.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I know that you, like, stopped long time ago.
Yeah. It was kind of the same thing. You know, it was when I did my ACL, I just I set a game plan and I was like, I'm not going to drink for this recovery. So then in 9 months, I'll be, you know, healed up, solid, and I'll be able to skate. Like, you know, I was like, I'll skate better than before as long as I just stay away from the alcohol. And then as I started collecting the months, it just like the want and the, I guess, you know, pleasure from that I would get from alcohol, the need from alcohol just kind of like, it just got smaller and smaller until it became like a thing that isn't even like now it's like I just drink water, coffee, and my whole milk. And that's like what I drink, you know? And it just kind of like, it just happened, like a switch kind of turned off, but it was from structure and just a game plan. And then I just never fell back into it. You know, I just like enjoyed how life was without it way more than with it.
I feel like my relationship with alcohol is actually a perfect parallel for skateboarding because I have slammed so many fucking times, and every single time, like today I can, like we can go out tonight and I can drink a half beer with dinner and be cool. We can also go drink 20, not a problem. But it's because of how many decades I've been wake up the next day, fuck, or I did it wrong, micro adjustment tonight. I never, a couple times I went through abstinence, but I've always thought, for me at least, it's healthier to not abstain, but it's healthier to get control and start to have a good, you know, relationship. And there's still, you know, they're very, you know, now I have a lot to lose, so my times of making mistakes with alcohol involved are much less often than they used to be. But like, you know, I'd wake up in the morning after, you know, in my 20s after whatever I had done the night before, and where some people would like, you know, be like, I'll never drink again. I definitely said that sometimes, but I was like, okay, I know where I went wrong. I'm going to try it again. Now, many times I would just do the fucking same thing again. Do the same. We just talked with Eric about that. It's like, but kind of like never giving up on the trick. It's like, I'm just going to keep, and then, you know, from being probably 16 until now I'm 38, it's probably only the last 2 or 3 years, maybe 2 years, that like I feel like I have a healthy relationship.
Congrats to you.
Thank you. But it's 20 something years of like actual practice, just the same trick over and over. And like the reason I don't do liquor is because I broke every fucking, you know what I mean? Like, okay, now I can't skate 12 stairs anymore.
Got you.
You know, now I'm just going to focus on mini ramps, just beer and wine, you know, and that's kind of where I can still progress and I can still, you know, so it's kind of an interesting, you know, parallel.
Well, I want to say this because I think it's really important to share, and maybe could be helpful for anybody watching. But like, I haven't been able to do that. Like what you said, get control. Like,
have you tried with that mindset of like practicing? Like,
so yes and no, but I'll tell you where I'm at now.
All right.
But like for the longest time, I mean, same thing with skating. I'll skate with skateboarding. I wanted to be the best at skateboarding growing up. I want to do my best. But then I found when I started enjoying alcohol, it was almost like not intentional. I wasn't thinking these thoughts, but it was almost like I was trying to be the best at drinking. And I would I'd find myself going out all the time. Like this was like later in my career. This is probably like around, I don't know, maybe like Probably like within the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And I'd find myself early on just drinking regularly. Like I would have, I had a girlfriend back in the day. We would just have a couple cocktails like every night, like one or two, chilling. But then I'd find myself like, oh, maybe I'll have 3. And then I find myself like going to lunch, whatever, with whoever, and we're at a restaurant. Maybe it's a lunch meeting. Yeah, I'll have a beer or 2. And then I'm finding myself just like drinking just at any moment for any reason. I'll find myself drinking when I'm super happy and I want to celebrate.
Yep.
I find myself drinking when I'm sad. I find myself drinking when I'm bored. I just found myself drinking whenever, all the time. And until finally people in my life around the pandemic time and then since then would like sat me down like, hey dude, you're kind of drinking a lot. Like, are you okay? Like, and I would be like, kind of brush them off at first, like, nah, it's not a big a deal. Like, I'm still skating. Like, I'm still all right. Like, everything's fine. Like, I was like,
just having fun.
I was just like, dude, I got to a point where I was like, I'm 20 years deep in my career. I've been going nonstop, foot on the gas all this time. I just want to like enjoy the fruits of my labor now. And I kind of like got lazy. I was getting fat. I was like eating like shit. I was like not sleeping good. All the way up until very recent. Even to the point I called Brandon Turner because I know Brandon Turner has his own facility and he's changed his life around. And I've watched Andrew change his life around and Ellington. I watched all these guys change their lives around. I'm like, how the freak can these guys do it? I can't do it. Like I couldn't do it. I called Brandon. I picked his brain about it. He offered me some good advice. It ruined like relationships that I was in. Like, and from the outside looking in, not many people would know that was going on. But my internal circle would know.
Yeah.
And like somehow, thank God, I didn't I'm still being active. I'm still working out nonstop. I'm still skating all the time. But in between all that, I'm looking for a drink. I'm thinking about a drink, the next drink. And I was watching this podcast, Diary of CEO, about, I don't know, maybe 4 months ago, not too long ago. And there was this addiction specialist woman on there, and I just happened to watch it. I geek out on that podcast. It's really good. And she was talking about, like, addiction. She works with people and it's disease and all these things, and I'm, like, relating to it. But then she's like, there are medicines that can help with alcohol addiction and control. And I was like, what? So I looked up into this medicine, and for the last, almost 3 months now, I've been taking it, and it's called naltrexone. And I was like, how do not many people know about this?
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, I had never heard of it. All the people
Just turns
I know
off
of, like,
an addiction sensor or something?
Yeah, I know like that there's AA, which I had never gone. I'd been like too shy or nervous, embarrassed, whatever, to talk about it. So like I would make stupid bets with my friends and white knuckle it. But like I went like January to March of this year without drinking because I bet my friend Spanish Mike that if I do drink, I have to shave my head bald.
Oh shit!
So I was like, I'm not drinking. But as soon as March 1st hit, it was back like nothing ever. So like it wasn't sustainable. So I found out about this stuff, and I think it's important to share with people because I don't think a lot of people know about this. It's called naltrexone. And I found it on this, and I Googled it, found this website that you can do it all online. But what it does is originally was used for opiate addiction.
Okay.
For people who do opiates. But apparently the same receptors where the opiates hit in your brain is the same ones that where alcohol hits in your brain. So you take this medicine and it goes to the receptors and blocks them. So whenever you drink or do opium or whatever, or take an opiate, it'll go to that part of your brain, but it's blocked. It's like wearing a hat on your receptor. Boom, sorry, can't get here. So like you don't get the same satisfaction out of it.
You still get a buzz.
You can still get a buzz, but you don't get that. Where's the next drink? Where's the next drink? You just like, oh, have a beer, like have a couple beers. You might feel buzzed, but it's not that same like, let's keep this going. It's like okay, cool. Like I could never before just like a beer or two and be done. Yeah. It was just like, if I start, I'm going.
So that's something that I actively tried to do and I practice, which is, I'm like, all right, tonight, and I wouldn't do it at a party. I would do it like on a Tuesday night. Don't have anything going on. I'm going to drink one beer. That's it. And then maybe I end up having 2 or 3. Okay, fuck. All right, the next time, all right, I'm going to drink one beer. And then I mastered, and it's just like take it really back to the fucking to the basics,
dude. Congrats
and I'm just
for that.
going to conquer this one now that I can just do one. I'm gonna learn how to see if I can just do 3, because it's way harder once you get to 3 to stop. than it is after one, you know? And
So
so that's kind of like, and that's what I did with espresso. I think I told you, I never had a cup of coffee or an espresso in my life until last summer. And I tried it for the first time, and I finally had an espresso. And I was like, oh, okay, I get it. And the next day, we were on vacation. Next day, had an espresso. Next day, had an espresso. Next day was a travel day, and I didn't have one. And all of a sudden, I'm just kind of lethargic, and I'm kind of moody, and I'm not normally that kind of guy. And then we get to where we're going, and I have an espresso, and everything clears up, and I go, oh, that was it. That's that shit that everyone puts on their fucking cups, like, don't talk to me until I drink my coffee. I'm like, y'all addicted to that. I understand what that is.
Yeah.
And I've now, in my relationship with coffee, I will not go 4 days in a row with an espresso.
Wow.
I'll do like 3, maybe 4 on, and then 2 to 3 days off.
Wow.
And it's because I'm not willing to let myself become addicted through the same mindset, but I had to actually come up with it with alcohol, and then practice it with alcohol, and then apply it to other places.
Well, kudos to you, man. That's it. That's impressive.
Well, try it for 20 years. It might work.
Yeah. Like I don't know if this is just like the addiction brain, but like I was like, cause like if you do that, right, you get the addiction under control. But I'm like, part of me is like, well, the addiction when it's used on something like skateboarding or something like working out or something constructive, it's like a superpower.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, but if I somehow like break myself of having an addictive personality, is that the good side of it going to suffer? Am I going to not be able to be like addicted to the good side of things anymore? Like I had this thought, like, is it going to like be detrimental? Am I going to just be like some overly in moderation kind of guy, guru? And like, I was like scared, like, well, I don't want to be moderate with my skating and working out and like my career.
I mean, I literally asked myself the exact same question, and my fear was the idea of abstinence. The idea of abstinence, which is fully neglecting the thing inside of me that I feel like I need, as compared to I should learn how to be the master of it. You know, and so I have a very I don't like the word addiction. I have a very passionate personality, and like when I do things, I go 150% all in. And so I do think that it is a superpower, but I think it's good to learn how to control the superpower as opposed to,
like Bruce Banner controlling the Hulk instead of the Hulk just coming out of him whenever.
And then he can summon it when he wants to.
Yeah.
Because we can still, like, even though I'm
Still
saying like
enjoy
I'll just
yourself.
have one beer, you want to go out tonight? I can fucking let's go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I can still do that.
Yeah.
How does that pill kind of how's it been?
It's been really good. So I just 2 days ago, I was having lunch on Sunday after we were skating, and I never, ever leave any alcohol, not a drop in the glass if I order
Not a
it.
damn chance.
Not a damn chance, right? And I just like, we were done and like I was full and like I just felt fine, and I left a whole half a mug of beer.
Damn.
And I was like, wow, I think this is working.
Epic.
That never happens.
Yeah.
I will usually force it down no matter what. But I feel like it's going really well. I can have a drink, maybe 2 drinks, and be like, all right, I'm cool. Because
Solid.
normally after the second, the buzz is turned on enough to where I'm like, let's roll. Yeah, one more, why not? Yeah, one more, why not? And then it's just next thing you know, I'm waking up with a headache.
Are you planning on like staying on this forever?
My goal with it is to take it long enough to where drinking doesn't feel like a habit anymore. Like
Build
now
that
I can
will.
go multiple days without it, and then I can have a couple, and then I can go a couple days in a row, and then I won't, and then I'll have like, I want to get to the point where like I go like a week or something and not even realizing it, not even intentionally, just
Yeah.
like, whoa,
been
I
a
didn't
week,
even
I
drink,
remember.
I didn't even think about it, it wasn't intentional or nothing, and I want to just get to the point where it's like that, and then I'll try getting off and see if I maintain that and kind of go back and forth based on what the results are. And
I think you have the kind of brain that like can recognize that if this thing allows me to be what I want, then it is psychological, and therefore I'm going to use this like sort of crutch
Yeah.
you know, to get to there, and then slowly take the training wheels
Exactly.
off. And if the
idea.
training wheels come off and you fucking fall flat on your face, put them back on.
Right.
And then practice again
That's
until
the
you can
idea, right.
eventually.
Exactly.
I also think too, it's like if it doesn't like help you reach the goals that you have, you know, sometimes it's like easier to stay away from it.
For sure. Like
know.
like if I've played all these games with myself, and that's the area I would get so frustrated. Like, why am I not conquering this? Like,
Yeah.
if it's not getting you closer to your goals, why do it? And then again, I'd find some silly excuse. Well, you know, I got a clip yesterday. I'm sore today. I got nothing to
Celebrate.
do.
Yeah.
Everything's taken care of. Well, I just kick it at home and you know, have a couple drinks. Or why don't I, you know, go out to a nice restaurant and you know have some drink, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I always find some little stupid excuse, and I know that about myself, and I catch myself doing it. And then, you know, so it's a struggle. Like, you know, you said it took you 20 years to get to that point. I think I've really stumbled across like a hack with the Now Check Zone.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like people can look it up. I forget what the website I found it on, but like I just feel like it's important to share with people. I'm sure a lot of people have dealt with this or struggle with this type of thing.
Thank you for sharing
I think the
that.
Now Check Zone has really been a really helpful thing, because like my goal was to like never drink again. I just wanted to have like a relation. I want to get to a point where I have a relationship with alcohol like the same way like my friend Spanish Mike does.
Yeah.
He'll drink here and there occasionally, but for the most part he could care less.
Yeah.
But he'll have, you know, an Aperol spritz or two on the rare occasion, but then at the same, then it won't even like he doesn't think about it ever.
I feel like some people could do that, and some people are just not wired for that.
That's what
Like,
I'm
I
saying.
Feel like
I'm not
myself,
wired like that.
You, Ellington, we're not wired like that.
The only-
he can deal with
but-
it like Spanish, but like
But I'm not sure. I don't think I was wired for it. I think I rewired myself, and I think that. And look,
or
I'm not
maybe you don't have like the
I-
weird passion
No,
drive
no.
that we have when we have a couple of drinks. It's like, oh, fuck.
Trust me. I have lost so many relationships and friends and opportunities and things. With, like I've struggled with it tremendously. But I by no means am I advocating that anyone who's out there who is sober should like try to start drinking again. Yeah. But I do think, like I said a couple episodes ago with when Erica was on here, I was an alatot, so I was, that's like when you have AA, like your kids and people around you go to like it's for people learn.
Like
so
if your parents are going,
yeah,
you're,
and they say that alcoholism is hereditary and et cetera, and so like I definitely am wired to like I should not be drinking. But I spent enough time because I enjoyed it to try to conquer it. And I still, every once in a while, will fuck up. Just like you can't land every trick every fucking time.
For sure.
You can just get more consistent than not.
Yeah.
And so, like, you have a great life. I don't think it's worth you potentially jeopardizing what you have to see if you can possibly conquer a dragon that you don't even give a fuck about. Right?
Yeah.
But if you really like it, there may be and with your mindset and how many similarities I've been following you for 20 something years, but we've never sat down and had a conversation, and there's so many, our brains work somewhat similarly that I feel like if you went into it with that sort of mindset, you could find success.
For sure. And I think that this is helping me, like hearing you say it and breaking it down that way, doing the Now Check Zone. I started doing therapy.
Yeah.
So like I feel like it's like one of those things where it's like a whole little there's not one silver bullet. It's like a whole, like with recovery, for instance.
Yeah.
You can do the foam roller, but that's not everything that's going to get you back to feeling healthy. You can stretch, but that's not everything that's going to get you back to healthy. You can ice bath. It's not everything. You can train. You can do, but if you do all of those things,
yes,
now
you
you're
have a better chance.
Now you're killing it. So that's kind of what I'm doing, is just like adding these different elements to help get me to that point. And just in the about 3 months that I've been taking the Now Check Zone, it's like insane difference.
That's so dope, dude.
And like you don't feel any different. It doesn't make you feel any weird way,
no side
or
effects,
drowsy or what. Some people might say they feel a headache or get drowsy, but I haven't felt any of that stuff. And
We're gonna need naltrexone to sponsor this episode.
yeah, no, I'm serious, dude.
That'd be
I don't know why people don't know about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
I've
one.
talked to other friends that I know who've either stopped drinking or are interested in it. No one's heard of it. I'm like, what? How do they not know?
It's like Nicorette gum for alcohol.
Yeah,
Is it something new
I
or
guess.
something that just got popular? Or
I
something?
don't know. I guess not even popular, but
Yeah.
I was just happened to be watching that episode of Diary of a CEO, and the addiction specialist woman mentioned it. She's like, a lot
Yeah.
of people don't know, but there are medicines people can take. Now, there's one I think that you can take that if you drink, it makes you feel sick. I've heard of that one. She might have mentioned, but this one, you don't feel sick. You just feel like you don't need to keep going.
Which is cool. You're
Yeah.
just like, I'm
That
good.
is a cool.
Yeah, which was always my goal, like to never drink again. I was like, all right, maybe I'm not in a mind state to fathom that right now.
Yeah, yeah.
But to be able to be like yeah, whatever. Like the same way that I look at, Pepsi. I don't drink soda hardly ever, but I'll have one on a random rare occasion.
Depending on the meal,
Yeah, like
You know?
it's like not even once a month maybe I'll have a soda.
Yeah.
But like if I can get to the point where I feel like that about alcohol,
You can eat 3 tacos
Then
and
I'm
drink half a
stoked.
beer and then leave.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. No, well, the taco addiction is another thing.
That's another podcast.
Yeah.
Going to the food addiction.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for opening up about that.
Yeah.
I do
No
really
problem,
think
man.
that I mean that's the point of this podcast is to show this human side of the people that many people out there look up to, and I know a lot of people look up to you. So so to hear that you have or are going through things that they there's no way that there aren't fucking more than half the population is going through the same exact thing.
Yeah, it's
You
it's
know?
a huge thing. And I never. It was like hard for me to accept the fact, like bro, like, are you an alcoholic? Like, I never pictured like, nah, no way, nah, no. And then like, one by one, like a close friend of mine would tell me, like, hey man, like, kind of worried about you. And then another friend would tell me, and then like a girlfriend would tell me, and I'm just like, well, enough people are telling me, maybe I should pay attention to it. Like it took a while to be like a little in denial. I was like, whatever. I'm like, I'm just like enjoying the fruits of my labor. I've worked hard for so long.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything's taken care of. Bills are paid. Whatever. Like I'm thinking of the stupid excuses, but then like you'll hear somebody tell you, "Do you remember what you did last night?" What'd I do? I did what?
Oh shit.
Oh my gosh, I gotta call him and apologize, or just making an ass of yourself, and just
Yeah.
like it's just like
I think it takes some time until you really.
there's no benefit really
Yeah.
to it.
And I think the first step is like realizing and accepting it.
Well, that is the
And
first
then
step,
you can
right?
act. on
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Acknowledging you have a problem isn't that the first step?
That's
Yeah.
what I.
Yeah.
That's what
Acknowledging
I
you have
always
a
hear,
problem, and then you can do whatever it takes to
Yeah.
fix it,
Yeah,
or
so-
try to make it better.
No, for sure.
You
I
know?
mean, and it's up to you. Like different people fall into substance abuse for different reasons. We don't know what people gone through, what they're feeling inside, and and I didn't even know like certain things were in me until I would do therapy, or until I would like I don't know, hit a certain age and realize like, wow, shit, or somebody might point something out to me about like something that happened to me when I was a kid, and fuck, I didn't realize that kind of fucked with me.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that because skateboarding was always like the thing that people sometimes use substance to not face reality, but skateboarding was the thing for me to not
Yeah.
face reality.
Yeah,
I guess
yeah.
my whole point of my life. And then when I got injured and I couldn't skate for almost 2 years, things start coming up inside of you. Little, I don't know, if, the inner demons or inner turmoil pops up because always you've had this thing that like that was like a Band-Aid over stuff,
Yeah.
because you're like, well, I'm having so much fun and enjoying this so much that like even if there are some problems, like I don't really care that bad right now. It's not really bugging me because I'm enjoying this.
See, that idea of like addictions and isms, right, is where like my brain kind of looks at it in a way where it's like you were no less addicted to skateboarding
Exactly.
than anything else. Why do we not call that an addiction? Why do we not call that an ism? And I think the reason is because it's not hurting you or others around you. Now, of course, skateboarding can it's
painful, but yeah,
but you know where I'm going with
Yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
so like
it's not affecting like my
Yeah, you're
life
not a
in negative
skateaholic.
way.
There's no, you know.
I mean, yes, but it's not a bad stigma
but it's not
to it.
it's not negative,
Yeah.
right? It's your superpower.
It's not hurting
It's what
anybody.
built your entire, you know, empire and everything that you get to have today. And so that's where it goes back to just like the rewiring of how you look at things, at least for me, where it's like you're not an alcoholic if you're not doing it in a negative. Maybe it's just negative.
Right.
Forget
Right.
hurting yourself.
Yeah.
But like, does this thing I do that I feel called to do, a thing I'm really excited to do, I want to do, is it negative?
Yeah.
Is it plus EV or is it negative EV?
Yeah, it was getting negative for
Yeah.
sure for a while. It's been negative. You know, maybe on the outside looking in, I still might have been skating okay and still doing my thing, but I was like, bro, I'm like literally wasting like precious years that I have left to skate at a high level
Yeah.
by being like foggy brained and hungover and like, sure, I went and skated, but did I like get the most out of my session? Did I, you know, give it my all? I'm like leaving so much precious time on the floor. So that's something that motivates me to conquer this. Of course, I'm a dad, and I want to set a great example for my kid.
Yeah.
You know, I want to like.
And she's getting close to the age where
Yeah,
you know, it
yeah.
started.
I don't want her to go down that path. I want to be healthy. I want to live a long life. I want to have good relationships. You know, I want to have a good, you know, like romantic relationship.
Yep,
I want to
yep.
have just want to be like. I just want to live a really dope life.
Yeah.
And, you know, and that was, while it felt like it was like a party, that was dope. But then, like, it bled outside of the party into every aspect of life. And then
Yeah.
it was like, oh, no, we got to do something about this.
Yeah.
man.
That is awesome that you're like figuring it out,
Yeah.
you know, and
I'm feeling good about it.
Yeah.
And, I got my nail checks on in my pocket right here.
Yeah.
hell yes,
Actually, that
dude.
made me realize I brought my little pack of vitamins.
Yeah.
that I hadn't took them yet. I was rushing out the house, but yeah, guys, this is what it looks like. The
Damn.
nail checks on. Looks like a little.
Yeah, man. I'm
Agile.
stoked you're like working towards it and
Yeah,
figuring it
man.
out, man.
Thank you. Yeah, just,
It is something that's very important. Is like, you know, you've worked so hard to be where you're at and build your whole empire and everything that it's like you can't let something like that kind of ruin what
I
you've done.
refuse to, man.
Yeah.
I refuse to. Like,
Brings it back to like the beginning of the conversation. It's like,
Yeah, like it's just yeah. I don't know what it is. It's just that type of mindset of a person who just like, you know, as you guys know, is just like you want to have that high achiever mindset, but
Yep.
like there's a dark side to that too.
For
I
sure.
guess, So.
Well, also as you get older, like, you know, when you're younger, when you're more young, you're more dumb.
Yeah.
You know, and you're more capable of just like doing things outside of the box. And as you get older, I think it just has to do with you have way more to lose. Your morality, you know, the mortality is the word I was looking for. Your mortality starts coming into play.
Right.
When you're in your teens and early 20s, you don't ever think about those types of things.
No.
And so,
And you bounce back. You're like,
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like anything. You know, we're going on tours and vans with
Yep, yep.
everybody. You know, drinks are just flowing, whatever. No, everyone's on the same program, so no one's thinking they're like.
But it's
Yeah.
also, I
Yeah.
think, what your teens and 20s are for. You're
Yeah.
supposed to, because when you get to this age, you're supposed to, well, I don't know what you're supposed to do, but like you shouldn't still be in your teens and 20s. Like that's what that's for. Your
It's a
body's
different
designed
level.
for
Yeah.
it. You know, your mind's designed for it. But now it's like, okay, now I got to start thinking about my offspring and the next generation. And how am I going to grow old? And what am I going to do to keep my body, you know, because like, look at us compared to what our parents looked like when they were in their late 30s and 40s, right? Go look back at those pictures. We look 20 years younger than they did, you know? But that can shift very quickly if we don't, you know, continue to take care of ourselves.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. It's important. I guess, you know, you just gotta find what drives you and what you're like living for, what your like
Just let
purpose
that
is.
feed you.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, because it could be easy if you don't feel like you have a purpose or something you're striving for to just kind of say, let's just grip it and rip it and let it go. You know, like,
For
you know,
sure.
if you don't have a belief in a higher power or something that anchors you, you know.
And anyone who's out there who's like, you know, feels like they're not in their or isn't in their, you know, teens and 20s anymore and is still living the life of grip it and rip it, you can always start,
Yeah.
you know?
And I think also to that point, that's also something that I was fighting, you know, as a skater. Like, I've been doing the same thing I've been doing since I've been a little kid. And here I am at 40-year-old man still doing the same thing. So like you don't realize your childhood is over. It just keeps, it's an extended childhood because your career allows that for you.
Because you didn't go to work at the bank.
Yeah, so when I touched 30, I was still like, that's what my birth certificate says, but like I'm still living the same life that I was living 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. You know, like I was like in denial of like maturing and growing up. And then I realized I would see friends who I had grew up skating with but you know, didn't make it as their career and had to go on and have a career, and then they have a family and kids, and I've seen they're so mature and they're so well adjusted, and I'm like kind of like degenerate almost. Like, no, I'm not like a full degenerate, but I mean like I'm like immature. I'm like just like not progressing. Early on in my life, it seems like I progressed faster than some of my friends, but then it's like the tortoise and the hare. The hare got a little lazy and overconfident, but the tortoise just kept chugging along working. And then next thing I know, I'm looking at my friends who like, you know, grew up and matured and had families and work and like have careers of these different things, and like now I'm looking at I'm like the little kid of my friend group now. Like, you know, it was a interesting dynamic to have that realization too.
Well, one, the grass is always greener, but two, I think that is part of your superpower, is that you do, like most people wouldn't even recognize any of that, but you do recognize that, whether it's even true or not. That could be another example of you sort of creating this sort of false enemy. Not that your friends are your enemies, but like you're just creating juice to fucking just to fuel the jetpack, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, I'm not about to get left in the dust.
No, wait, you guys got that? I'm gonna get that. You want that? I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, for sure. That's
I like that.
Like always. Yeah, I guess that's just always how I frame things up for me. So I guess I'm always just looking a way to stay fueled up.
Well, there's a question we typically ask here at the as we start to wrap things up, and you've had obviously a storied, you know, career and life, and you know, as you said, you wanted to, you know, have a nice life and live wealthy and all those types of things, and you know, from an outsider's perspective, it seems like, you know, you're at a place where you're pretty, you know, content and happy where you are, although we always want to grow, right? Yeah. And so we have this question we sort of wrap things up with, which is like, given the opportunity to completely have one wish, and that wish was you get to design exactly what your life and your world looks like 10 years from now. Who are you, where are you, and what does your world look like 10 years from today?
Was that 50?
Wow. Yeah, fuck.
Yeah, what's 50?
What's 50 look?
What's up with your daughter? What's up with your business? Like, what is life? Are you just you know, are you just sitting on the beach somewhere? What is life like for you at 50?
That is hard to say. At 50, I for sure would like to be like very wealthy. I would like to be like, I don't have to do anything type of wealthy if I don't want to. Hopefully proper investments, good passive income flowing in. And I would like to, you know, my daughter will be 26 then. I don't know if she'll be married or anything yet, but if she is, of course, I want to be there. I want my relationship with her to be like still really strong as she becomes an adult. I just want to be at peace, man. I want to feel peace in my heart. I've always had a interest in going into the acting field, and when I was injured on my knee injury, I was like going hard at it, but then when I got healthy again and I was like backlogged in on skateboarding, I haven't reproduced it. So maybe like at some point, if and when I like slow down as a professional skater, I'll focus my energy into that. Yeah. But I just want to have the freedom to choose if I want to do that, or if I want to just become a yoga instructor or what. I just want to have
whatever that next
freedom
obsession that shows up.
To have obsessions, to have hobbies that I can turn into obsessions, because that's just always where I found my joy in life. Not to ever feel like I have to do something to keep the lights on. Yeah. Other than that, you know, it'd be nice to be in love at that point, and you know, be in beautiful, wonderful, fantasy-like relationship. Yeah, man, I don't have a clear answer.
It sounds like it's a clear answer to me. I mean,
I love it.
It's a great answer. I want to be in a position where I can
Yeah.
go back to being a kid and just find my next passion, or not find my next passion, but have my life set up in a way that I don't have to worry about anything. And I want to find peace. And
Yeah.
to me, that's
Be
been like my
happy.
mantra.
Yeah.
Peaceful.
Yeah.
Peace is the most important. I do think that peace is more important than money, although money does
course.
allow for peace.
Yeah.
But I think peace is like that next thing that we all kind of go after.
Yeah.
Once you get enough
Peace
money
is like
to
the
like,
ultimate level.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, because when you have peace, you could just sit on a fishing dock.
Oh yeah.
You could do yoga. You could skateboard all day, but you have peace, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, that will require me for my personal beliefs, and not to make it weird or strange or anything, but I believe in God and I believe in Jesus, and that's where I find my peace. And I guess in 10 years, I just pray that my relationship with God, with the higher power, with the Lord is that much stronger, and the peace is that much
Awesome.
more vibrant. I
Yeah.
guess.
Hell yeah.
I
You
love
know,
that, dude.
so that's where I hope, because when we're young, we're chasing things, we're chasing and chasing dreams, and it's fun and exciting, and it's great, and that's what you should be doing in life. But I guess as you get older, your values change, especially you have children, your perspective changes, and you just want them to be happy. You just want them to have a good life. You just want to, like, you just don't want to be stressed. You don't want to be like having anxiety or like just worries, because no matter what in life, there's going to be ups and downs. No matter how much money you have, or no matter if you're rich, poor, or whatever. Like, we've all seen these last 5 years with all the stuff that's gone on in the world and still goes on. It's like shit can hit the fan at any moment, man. But if you can have that foundation of peace within, that's, I think, the best chance at like getting through with your sanity.
Yeah.
I think
I
that is
love that, dude.
sage advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah. So that's all I have to say about that.
Hell yes.
Dude, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Paul.
guys.
Thanks for coming.
I appreciate it. Thank
Yeah,
you for hitting me up. Thank you for having me, and I enjoyed our conversation.
Hell yeah. Let's do it
Same,
again
man.
sometime.
Let's go, baby. I'm down.
That's a wrap on today's episode. Hit subscribe now if you want to follow along. We have some awesome guests lined up that we sit down with. Make sure you follow the Not a Damn Chance podcast on socials at NADC Podcast. We'll see you next week.